Hello and welcome to Mitv News at 6. I am Teresa Adinyemi. President Muhammadu Buhari has reminded members of the ECOWAS Parliament on the need to align their programs to those of the founding fathers of the sub-regional body. The president, who stated this at the opening section of the 2022 second ordinary section of the ECOWAS Parliament, said that the vision of the founding fathers of ECOWAS was to have a West Africa that is integrated economically with harmonized policies, enjoying free movement of persons, goods and services, as well as seamless right to establishment. President Buhari further declared support for the process of the election of members of the ECOWAS Parliament by direct universal suffrage, saying provided it is conducted with minimum or even at no cost at all to the community. The Nigerian leader also reaffirmed Nigerians' commitment to ECOWAS' effort with the support of partners to keep the region peaceful, secure and politically stable, pledging that the country would continue to support the restoration of democratic rule in Mali, Guinea and Burkina Faso. For the citing upcoming elections in Sierra Leone and Liberia, President Buhari declared Nigerians' readiness to stand by any country in the region that is committed to organizing free and fair elections.
The vision of the founding fathers of ECOWAS was to have a West Africa that is integrated economically with harmonized policies and enjoying free movement of persons, goods and services, as well as seamless right to establishment. We must continue to strive harder to attain those objectives. Let me take advantage of existing mechanisms and our enterprising population to turn our dreams into reality. We have the capacity to do so. Let us collaborate more and remove our outdated physical and psychological boundaries and other colonially inspired differences so that our region can fully attain its full potential.
Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, SAN, has assured the judiciary that better days are ahead for the third arm of government and the overall administration of justice in the country. Malami gave the assurance at a special court section of the Supreme Court to mark the commencement of the 2022-23 legal year and conferment of the rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria to 62 recipients in Abuja on Monday. The minister expressed high optimism that the recent approval granted by President Muhammadu Buhari, in addition to increasing the salaries and allowances of our judicial officers, but also for conditions for their health, well-being and profession development, will usher in a new lease of life and impetus for the judiciary to operate maximally in a more beneficial and rewarding environment. Malami called for collective effort from the judiciary in order to attain the desired levels of good governance and development. As I said, law and development are interwoven. On his part, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, disclosed that a total of 6,884 appeals are still pending before it, adding that this further underscores the massive workload in the various Nigerian courts. Justice Ariwola noted that the workload before the court, including the Apex Court, is overwhelming given the limited judicial manpower to handle the mountain cases.
Since the inception, this administration, in line with its commitment to promoting rule of law, has accorded top priority to the funding of the judiciary. Hence, we have ensured a progressive budgetary allocation to the judiciary, which has seen an increase from 73 billion in 2015 to over 130 billion in 2022, and a further increased sum of 150 billion has been proposed for 2023. In addition to the foregoing, we have provided special interventions when the need arises, particularly in meeting the huge cost of running election tribunals. We have supported legislative enactments, including constitutional alterations to support the independence and funding of the judiciary. We will continue to do more.
Available facts on judicial activities in various jurisdictions across the globe still emphatically confirm that Supreme Court of Nigeria remains the busiest and most hardworking Supreme Court in the world. It is on record that we work from Monday to Friday every week. We conduct sittings on a daily basis. It's only on Wednesdays we do chamber sitting to consider non-contentious matters. On Fridays, we deliver judgments and rulings. I remain eternally grateful to the Almighty God for strengthening and giving us the tenacity to accomplish the much we do on a yearly basis. We are humans and equally have blood running through our veins. If no one praises us, we have the inalienable right and obligation to praise and eulogize ourselves. Self-praise is no villa, an offense, than self-denial.
Minister of Transportation Muazu Sambo expressed 90% readiness over the commencement of the Abuja-Kaduna train services. The minister spoke to journalists on Sunday at the Regasa train terminal in Kaduna shortly after a brief inspection of the Abuja-Idu train station and the Regasa-Kaduna terminal, respectively. This was as he backtracked on his previous position to conceal certain security measures taken so far to ensure protection of lives and properties of Abuja to Kaduna train subscribers following the commencement of the Abuja-Kaduna train services in days. While fielding questions from journalists, the minister disclosed that the number of daily trips would be reduced and the use of national identity number would be strictly requested as part of strategies to secure passengers. It stated that the ministry, in partnership with the NLC and other bodies, would begin profiling all train subscribers. Sambo further disclosed that moves have been made to beef up the number of security personnel, including deployment of high-tech security apparatus to boost security. The minister expressed satisfaction over the infrastructural situation of the Regasa terminal in Kaduna, adding that more would be done to enhance train services.
There hasn't been a government in this country that has been as much pro-people as this government. You want me to reel out why I will do that? All the social programs, all the social safety net program, you know all of them. Okay? Yes. No, you can ask 10 questions.
Are we sure the NIN will take care of racketeering, which was a serious problem before?
Oh, in fact, it is also a reason why we introduced it. It will take care of racketeering. Only one human being is entitled to a NIN. NIN is not shared now. And you cannot buy unless you have a NIN. So I don't know how you are going to mop up 20 NINs and begin to buy tickets with them. In any case, like I told you, at the point of access to the departure lounge, the profile of the person will have to show. And if it is not shown, you don't get access. It's as simple as that. So if you bought 20 tickets, 19 are useless. And you've wasted your money. We have taken your money. You could take that back. No, it's not refundable. It has gone to TSA straight.
Sir, now we are reducing the trips.
Yes.
Per day.
Yes.
Are we going to extend it?
Majma Training and Research Institute has strongly advocated the development of youth literacy and education training in order to promote and protect the future of education in Nigeria. The convener of Majma Training and Research Institute and Associate Professor Sahid Rufai, who made a call during major talk on Monday in Lagos that Majma is focused on empowering youth on Arabic language. He noted that the program will let the participant understand how to interpret and translate from Arabic language to their native language. Sahid Rufai, who identified the upcoming 3-day program, symposium, forum, graduation ceremony, and meeting with key stakeholders respectively, also urged everyone to impact positively to others. The chairman of Majma Training and Research Institute, Lukman Adiotsi, employed all the graduated students to assist anyone in seeking full knowledge.
The country will gain because our program is development focused. We train with an eye on what each trainee, each individual has to offer the country. What can you contribute to the economy? What can you contribute to nation building? So it's evidence-based, it's result-oriented, it's development-focused. So it's not only individuals that have something to gain from the training. The entire country too. The country has a lot to benefit from the program.
Very, very efficient, very effective, and he has been engaging colleagues all over the world on the issue of Islam and how can we do things properly. You can see that people that this institute has trained, not that they do not have a knowledge of Arabic, but things must be done properly. And in addition, they have to be exposed to the whole.
To stem the tide of undue migration of African youth in pursuit of education and living abroad, nations in the continent must reassure the youth of improved infrastructure, socio-economic and employment opportunities. University Don Professor Babatunde Adedibu noted this while addressing journalists after delivering inaugural lecture in Ede, Osun State. Professor Adedibu said the phenomenon of migration may not abate anytime soon, but advised government to enhance provision of infrastructure and facilities that make life worth living to encourage youth to stay back and contribute to national development. He said for university system to be revitalized and repositioned to a global test, there must be institutional changes in respect of issues of academic management in tertiary institutions, particularly the public ones. The professor will advocate broad knowledge with relevant theological or university degree as a recipe that will prepare theological students better to understand historical, socio-cultural, and religious dynamics of diverse contexts. Chairman of the inaugural lecture committee, Professor Olalere Adeyemi, urged the import of the inaugural lecture on intellectual relevance and its impact on students and their academic pursuits.
The only option is for change with respect to provision of adequate infrastructure and everything that makes life worth living. But I must emphasize that the phenomenon of migration is not going to abate in foreseeable future because it's part of human narrative over time. In terms of employment, improvement in terms of social economic futures in the country, institutional changes with respect to ongoing issues of tertiary education in the public sector right now is a serious call for concern. And definitely there has to be a change in order for the university system to be revitalized and be positioned where it ought to be.
Inaugural lecture is the culture of the university. And it's so significant in the sense that it launched the university to the outside world. And it also shows the contributions of lecturers to academics generally. If you watch carefully, you find out that we have many students in attendance, especially the scholars, the university scholar. It's just a way to let them know that academics is very important in society, and also for them to know that it's very serious with their studies, so that they can also attain their high desires in life, especially in academics.
Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke as the Throne 3 monarch appointed by his predecessor Adegboyega Oyetola. Recall Oyetola appointed several monarchs few weeks before handing over government to Adeleke. Among the newly appointed monarchs include Akirun of Ikirun, Oba Yunusa Akadiri, Are of Ire, Oba Ademola Olukmole, and Oba Adegboyega Famodu. The former governor also approved the appointment of 30 permanent secretaries into the various ministries. Governor Adeleke, in a statement signed by his spokespersons, Olawale Rashid, about 24 hours after inauguration, announced that the thrones of Akirun of Akirun, Are of Ire, and Owa of Igbajo remain unoccupied pending the outcome of a committee of inquiry to review their appointment and subsequent installations. According to the statement, the 6 executive orders issued by the governor, which borders on reversal of monarch appointment and placement of civil servant, employment and freezing of government accounts have been signed this morning and take immediate effect. The Ekiti State House of Assembly has lifted the suspension on Honorable Adekemi Balogun. This decision was reached at a parliamentary sitting on Monday. Balogun was among the 7 lawmakers suspended for working with the impeached Speaker, Honorable Boyega Aribisogun. According to the chairman, House Committee on Media and Publicity, Honorable Adeoye Stephen Aribasoye, the decision is consequent upon consideration of a letter of apology and the fulfillment of other conditions attached to reinstatement. Honorable Adekemi Balogun has therefore been readmitted to the House with all her rights and privileges restored. And up next is Foreign Story. Please stay with us.
Gbogbo Èkó àkété ire ni ọmọ ìlú ní gómìnà kan ìṣẹ̀yà Jídé Adédìródé ọpọlọ òfin líle máṣùmátọ̀ ó tó gẹ́ jàǹdódé kọ́mọ Èkó ṣe kò fẹ́ra má nílùú Èkó mọ́.
Àbí Èkó wa kọ́ rèé tí gbogbo wa jẹ́ alẹ́nu lọ́rọ̀ nígbà kan kíkun Èkó lọ́dà ò tó wọn à ń jó sí dandan ní ìfọ̀kànbalẹ̀ ará ìlú. Dr. Lájídé Adédìran kájú ẹ̀ jàǹdó for governor kí gbogbo ọ̀nà ṣe rìn fọ́kọ̀ ọrọ̀ ajé tí ò ní pakanleke. Ẹ jẹ́ ká fi ìbò dídì gbára wa lọ́wọ́ ogun gbódò ńrọ́ṣọ. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbárùkù ti Dr. Jídé Adédìran àti Fúnkẹ́ Akíndélé sí ipò gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó àti igbákejì lábẹ́ àsíá ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú PDP fún ìdàgbàsókè àti ìlọsíwájú tó péye. Vote Jandor for Lagos Governor 2023.
PDP, power to the people.
Àwọn Friends of Lagos ló ṣe onígbọ̀wọ́ ìkéde yìí.
Welcome back now to Foreign Stories. United Nations experts have called on authorities in South Sudan to investigate officials accused of overseeing systematic gang rapes, some of whose victims were girls as young as 9. The Commission on Human Rights in South Sudan said on Monday that it had reasonable grounds to believe a county commissioner in the northern oil-rich state of Unity orchestrated gang rapes at a military camp. The documented abuses also involved beheadings, rape victims forced to carry the severed heads, victim being burned alive, and days of brutal sexual assault, the UN experts said in a statement. Commission member Bani Afako said conflict-related rape and sexual violence in the United States has become so systematic and as a direct result of impunity. Investigators say sexual abuse has been used as a weapon by all sides in South Sudan's civil conflict, which erupted in 2013 and triggered Africa's biggest refugee crisis since the 1994 Rwandan genocide. According to the United Nations statement and the abuses outlined in Unity, multiple witnesses said the state official planned and ordered the attacks, which were led by its deputy and followed strikingly similar patterns in different areas. Hundreds of demonstrators and police have clashed in Shanghai as protests over China's severe COVID-19 restrictions continued into a third day and spread to several other cities. The latest demonstration, unprecedented in mainland China since President Xi Jinping took power a decade ago, began after 10 people were killed in a fire in Urumqi, the capital of the far western region of Xinjiang. That many of the protesters blame unprotected COVID-19 lockdowns, the data have become a lightning rod for frustrations over Beijing's dogged commitment to zero COVID and its combination of strict lockdowns, mass testing and tracking that continue to impede people's lives 3 years after the first cases of the then unknown virus were detected in the central city of Wuhan. Protesters Xiao Xiao told the news agency in Shanghai, China's largest city, that it was there because it loves its country, but it doesn't love its government. It wants to be able to go out freely, but it can't. The country's COVID-19 policy was a game and was not based on science or reality. Hundreds of people gathered on Sunday evening in the city holding a blank sheet of paper as an expression of the censorship of protests as police kept a heavy presence on Urumqi Road, named after Urumqi, and where a candlelight vigil on Saturday evolved into a protest. India's balancing act on the war in Ukraine is becoming more difficult, but New Delhi's unique position as a friend of both Russia and the West could see it emerge as a key mediator, experts have told Al Jazeera. When war began on February 24, New Delhi was quick to support Ukraine's humanitarian need, but India has abstained from condemning Moscow's action at the United Nations, a consistent position that the administration of Prime Minister Narendra Modi says is in line with India's foreign and defense policies. In a November interview with Times Now, an Indian media outlet, India's Foreign Minister Subrahmanyam Jaishankar argued that he's not trying to cater to the demands of older people. He says sometimes he had lived with things that the West did, now live with the India's foreign policy. But as the war intensifies, global energy and food shortages are prompting India to reevaluate its restrictive stance towards Russia. The Pentagon is considering a proposal to supply Ukraine with cheap, small precision bombs fitted onto abundantly available rockets, allowing Kyiv to strike far beyond Russian lines as the West struggles to meet the demand for more weapons. U.S. and allied military inventories are shrinking, and Ukraine faces an increasing need for more sophisticated arms as the war drags on. Boeing's proposed system, dubbed Ground-Launched Small Diameter Bomb, that is GLSDB, is one of about a half dozen plans for getting new munitions into production for Ukraine and the U.S. Eastern European allies, industry sources said. GLSDB could be delivered as early as spring 2023, according to a document reviewed by Reuters News and 3 people familiar with the plan. It combines the GBU-39 Small Diameter Bomb, SDB, with the M26 rocket motor, both of which are common in U.S. inventories. Doug Bush, the U.S. Armed Chief Weapon Buyer, told reporters at the Pentagon last week the military was also looking at accelerating production of 155mm artillery shells currently manufactured only at government facilities by allowing defense contractors to build them. And up next is sports stories. Please stay with us.
Papa, mama, brother, sister, this Lagos must work for all of us. Everybody ja fun Eko.
Oh yes, Lagos people, papa, mama, sister, brother, auntie, plus including uncle them. Better don land for Lagos State gidigba. Money wey be for Lagos State, then go use am for Lagos State wella. No more baba sope. Dem no go chop Lagos State money. Nobody go pocket Lagos State. Dem go take am build Lagos State, build road, build hospital, build houses, and na only one man fit do this job. His name na Abdulaziz Olajide Adediran Jandor. He come carry one ogbonge person as the deputy governor. Her name na Funke Akindele. My people, wetin we dey wait for? Make we vote for light, vote for change. No be the kind change wey dem vote before. This one na the original change. How Amumu don do? Pay dey pay.
Everybody ja fun Eko.
Welcome back. Now talking sport. Ghana won their Group H match despite a spirited South Korean comeback, defeating their opponent 3-2. What has been the most exciting day of the 2022 World Cup so far. Mohamed Salisu and Mohamed Kudus gave Ghana a 2-0 first half lead on Monday at Education City Stadium as they brushed aside some early pressure from South Korea. South Korea fought back in the second half with 2 headers from Jo Seung-chul as they threatened to cause another incredible World Cup comeback. However, Ghana were able to rely once again on Kudus, who popped up to drive a side-footed effort in the corner in the 68th minute. South Korea applied some heavy pressure in the final minute, peppering the Ghanaian goal with dangerous crosses, but they could not find an equalizer. Earlier in the day, Cameroon and Serbia shared points in an exhilarating 3-3 draw. And that's it on MITV News at 6. Join us again at 9:30 p.m. tonight for our primetime news. I am Teresa Adeyemi. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Good evening.
Every day is going to be different because it's such a vast industry that's so dynamic.